So I've been working on this really big project, but I was presented with another idea, so I put that project on hold for a while. And then the Seth the Programmer situation happened, and honestly, at first I was going to leave it alone. You see, when I decided to make this channel, or at least take the channel more seriously, I told myself that the benefit of it is that I don't really have to be the drama channel if I really didn't want to be. I mean, think about it. For as passionate as we are about anime and manga, it is essentially just a Japanese way of making cartoons. Honestly, I'm thankful for it because when the Seth the Programmer controversy came to light, even though it is anime YouTube related, I didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. It is YouTube drama at the end of the day, but because it is anime YouTuber drama and it involves YouTubers I actually watched or are watching, I couldn't help but think about the situation. And in thinking about it, something popped in my mind that I want to share with you all, and we'll get to it, but first I want to set up some context for those who aren't in the know. The anime YouTuber scaling community is a subsection of anime YouTube that is pretty big. And in that, you have a YouTuber who was probably the face of that named Seth the Programmer. He was closing in on 1 million subscribers, and I'd make the argument that that number isn't actually indicative of his popularity. He had 41 videos of at least 1 million views or more, and at one point was considered part of the community's Big Three, along with Clyde and Swaikage. He was also thought of as the go-to guy whenever there was a debate on which anime character is stronger. However, some damning evidence came to light in the form of a document that resurfaced, a near 3-hour video by Clyde, and a near 7-hour live stream by Keemstar, where Keemstar invited a bunch of the anime YouTubers involved. In these videos and the document, it revealed, amongst other things, that Seth the Programmer was not shy about using derogatory slurs, fostered a toxic work/fan environment, and last but certainly not least, he was sexually harassing minors. Big yikes. Now, again, as I alluded to earlier in the video, that although it involves YouTubers I watch, at the end of the day, it is YouTube drama, and I don't do drama. Although that wasn't going to stop me from watching the drama content, because this is one of the few times I actually watch the creators involved in the drama. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a huge Seth the Programmer fan and I was in his Discord, but I did like his work. If you haven't noticed, my video thumbnail style is inspired by his older video thumbnail style. Anyway, as I was watching this all unfold, I thought about what the big takeaway for a person like me would be. You see, the obvious is true. Obviously, Seth the Programmer is a shit human being. Obviously, it's a lesson in how when a person is given power, it reveals their true nature, and that it's important to understand the responsibility of not losing your morals when you are given money and power. But let's say I'm a person who watched and admired the guy. What is my lesson here? And in thinking about that question, I came up with a message that I've heard before, but rang ever so true in this instance. Fall in love with the idea, not the person. Liking the product does not necessarily mean you have to like the producer of said product. And it seems obvious what I'm getting at, but I say that all to say that what tends to happen when controversies like this come out, whether on this scale or lesser, we tend to make excuses for the people who the controversy is negatively surrounded on because we are fans of the work the person did. For the most part, we understand this as humans in theory, but we have a hard time putting this into practice, and as a result, we tend to be a little soft when it comes to demanding consequences for their actions. This is especially true for YouTubers. Comment below how many times you've seen this cycle. YouTuber does something bad, they do a crappy apology video, which never actually apologizes for what they did. They just apologize for getting somebody hurt. And then people who are fans continue to be fans, but are even more so entrenched in their belief of this person. It's almost to the point where they're unreasonable. So-and-so said the N-word? Well, they didn't mean in the context that you're supposed to mean it in to be a racist. So-and-so defrauded people out of their money in a crowdfunding campaign. Well, it wasn't their fault that projects fell through. And sure, it's because the people who like their content are willing to give the content creator a pass, thereby not properly separating the product with the producer of the product. And I agree with that assessment. But I also think it's something deeper, and I would present to you that the people who do this not only do this because they like the content, but they identify with the content. What I mean is that people are so invested in what they watch in the media that they tend to make it a part of their identity. This is why people will buy the merch, donate, and my personal favorite, when the creator gets big, they gatekeep who the real fans are. That person will love the content and the YouTuber who created it because it's now a piece of them. So when evidence comes to light that the content creator they know is really just a piece of shit, then they have to ask themselves two questions. One, what is my identity now that they're gone? And two, if they're a piece of shit and I like them, what does that say about me? Those two questions are very scary questions to ask yourself, so most people will tend not to acknowledge that the person was a bad person at all, which means two camps form. Camp A, the person who looks at the actions of said person from a critical lens, makes a judgment on what is the right amount of social consequence this person should have, which varies in severity, by the way. And then you'll have Camp B, who will irrationally deny that anything wrong took place. Obviously, we know which camp you should be in, and it should be Camp A, but more often than not, we land in Camp B because the person did X. And it's not just YouTube. Celebrity X has a domestic violence charge we ignore. Celebrity Y has a Me Too controversy arising, but hey, we think either the person accusing them is lying or the story lacks full context, so we'll ignore that as well. And Celebrity Z is peddling harmful products for money, but hey, her reality show is really good. See, it's unfortunately very sad. And before people accuse me of being elitist, it happens in the world of academia too. There are too many examples that follow this specific pattern. Philosopher A has a history of being verbally abusive to women, but he talked about this really awesome concept, so we ignore that red flag. Point is that it's common, but what I would recommend to you is that if you find yourself falling into Camp B when it's your favorite content creator or celebrity, you have to understand that just because their ideas are good or just because their product is good doesn't mean you have to think they are good. Fall in love with the idea, not the person the idea came from. So what does this have to do with Seth the Programmer? Well, it's okay to like the idea of power scaling anime characters. It's okay to like the popularization of debating anime fights, and even acknowledge that Seth the Programmer was at the forefront of that. But separate that in regards to his character. And that goes for any content creator, no matter what they do, because at the end of the day, you do not know them. Okay, I think we all get the point of what I'm trying to say. For the next videos, I swear we will get back to videos about the anime and not the anime YouTubers. Be sure to like and subscribe, as we just recently passed the 500 subscriber mark, which is huge. And here's to 500 more. Alright, later.